What's up, everybody? I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'll be breaking down our co-main event for UFC Fight Night Winnipeg. In this one, we have Kyler Phillips taking on Charles Jourdain. If I'm being honest, you look at everyone who's fighting on the card, and skills-wise, this is probably the highest skilled matchup on the entire card. Well, one, because they're both bantamweights, and I view that division as the most skilled weight class, besides maybe welterweight right now. But definitely, bantamweight is probably my number one pick for most skilled weight class in the UFC right now. Both of these guys are a bit, I think, of a higher level when it comes to, again, everybody on the card. I really can't think of any fighter who just skill for skill, right? If they were all the same weight class, who's more skilled than these two? I can't really think of anybody besides them. And overall, this is just going to be a great, fantastic fight. Highly competitive for sure, in my opinion. And definitely going to be maybe not fight of the night, right? Maybe not, but definitely shows higher skill level. I mean, both these guys are in their 30s, or literally 30. They're in their primes. It's going to be a fantastic showing. But that said, let's take a look at our two fighters. Starting with Charles Jourdain. He's currently 17, 8, and 1 as a professional, 3 and 2 in his last 5 fights. Jourdain had some pretty good momentum. Like, honestly, Jourdain is one of those fighters who, especially at featherweight, he would be up and down, like submitting Ricardo Ramos via guillotine, then suffering a 2-fight skid to Sean Woodson and Joan Silva. But then, since moving down to the bantamweight, looks like Charles Jourdain has just really locked in. He's been on a tear with this 2-fight win streak, submitting both Victor Henry and Davey Grant. That Davey Grant win was so impressive because I thought, like, I picked Jourdain in that fight, but I thought it was going to be nipped and tucked. Truly, just like someone just slightly edges out. But no, he ran right over Davey Grant with a flying knee into the guillotine. Charles Jourdain at bantamweight is so much better. He just looks more dialed in. He looks like he can make a real run in this weight class. And now he gets a chance against a top 15 opponent in Kyler Phillips. For Phillips, he's currently 12 and 4 as a professional, 3 and 2 in his last 5 fights. Phillips, kind of like Jourdain in many ways, would have his ups and downs. Like, he was on a 3-fight win streak, or actually a little bit longer of a win streak, but still submitting Marcelio Rujo, who defeated Hani Barcelos via decision, which is aged very well. And then most recently, defeated Pedro Munoz via decision in what was easily Kyler Phillips' best performance. Like, I know this guy beat Song Yadong, but I really felt like that Phillips just had a absolutely breakout performance against Munoz. But now on a 2-fight skid, losing to Rob Font and Vinicius Oliveira, both by decision. Again, for Kyler Phillips, he's just one of those guys who is, when he's on, he looks like a world beater. When he's off, he just looks so bad. Or maybe that's not the right word, but like, he just looks so off. You sometimes question yourself, like, how did this guy beat so and so? And again, same could be said for Jourdain, but I think Jourdain might be a bit more dialed in now that he's at bantamweight. But we're gonna see. With that said, let's get down to the breakdown. Starting with Kyler Phillips. Like I said, on his best nights, he is one of the most dynamic fighters in the division. Unorthodox movement, fluid striking, very creative combinations. Like, his body kick to the spinning back fist he landed on Munoz was absolutely insane. And has some pretty sneaky wrestling to him. Like, excuse me. Phillips has some very good sneaky takedowns, like he showed against Rob Font, against Barcelos. Overall, like I said, Kyler Phillips can actually mix it up pretty well when he wants to. Like, there are times where he really lives up to the name The Matrix. When he's on, he looks elite. But we've also seen in Kyler Phillips get outstruck by high-level guys. Like, Rob Font simply beat him with the fundamentals, like a jab, the overhook into the uppercut, just very basic striking. But when he is on, I meant to reverse that. What I meant to say, when Kyler Phillips is on, he can outstruck high level guys. He can mix in his wrestling seamlessly and just flow between techniques effortlessly. But the issue is consistency. As sometimes Kyler Phillips just looks aimless, overly flashy, and sometimes just easy to frustrate with the fundamentals. As I mentioned, Rob Font beat him basically with a jab, the collar tie into the uppercut. Honestly, he feels like the Michael Johnson of bantamweight. Like I said, this guy beat Song Yudong and Hani Barcelos, but somehow lost to Roland Paeva. Like, it makes no sense. Now, looking at Charles Jourdain, he had a similar issue at featherweight. Very talented, very explosive, but inconsistent. At bantamweight, we've seen this guy really lock in, it seems. Like I said, you do not run over Davy Grant without being highly skilled, and you do not submit Victor Henry without being very skilled. So we definitely have seen just definitely a more focused Charles Jourdain. And Jourdain, he still has his high level striking. He is very good striker at all ranges. Good boxing, good kicking game, explosive, very creative as well. But now Jourdain just seems more disciplined, more efficient, and more dangerous than before. And I would say Jourdain, when it comes to grappling, that guillotine of his is so good. He's very good at either switching up grips or going for the high elbow. Oh, and just at times very persistent with that guillotine, like he did against Ricardo Ramos and Victor Henry. But hey, man, if he gets it, he gets it. So looking at stylistically, this is dynamic chaos versus controlled chaos. Both guys are flashy, both are very creative, and both are good at mixing in the striking and grappling. But the difference is in the execution. Kyler Phillips is a bit more in the flow when it comes to his striking. I would say Jourdain's a bit more aggressive in that sense. So both of them are similar in that they're creative and can be very difficult to time. But at the same time, both of them executed pretty differently. The key factor here is consistency. Phillips is a bit more volatile. Like I said, he'll look great, but then other times it looks like he just laid an egg in there. While Jourdain right now is the bit more, I think, more reliable of the two. You also got to look into the grappling, right? Phillips has good offensive wrestling, but I think Jourdain has a better submission threat, especially that guillotine. And if Phillips shoots a sloppy takedown, he is going to get caught. Plus, you just look at the power and momentum. I think with Jourdain, being the former featherweight, he's going to likely carry more power of the two. He just looks sharper in this weight class. I think he just has a bit more confidence to him, honestly. One of the big reasons why Phillips lost to Vinicius Oliveira was Oliveira not just used his size advantage, but simply had more confidence in walking down Kyler Phillips. And you can see Phillips was very flustered in that fight. So, for my final assessment, this should be a high level back and forth fight. Both guys will have moments, but I trust Jourdain's current form, his consistency, and finishing threats more than Phillips' unpredictability. And again, you just don't know what Kyler Phillips you're going to get. So, for my official prediction, I'm going to go with Charles Jourdain, and I'm going to pick him via decision. But I think his submission is very live in this fight. I could see him catching Kyler Phillips with something and possibly putting him out, but I still think I'm going to stick to my guns. Like Kyler Phillips is notoriously pretty tough. Excuse me. And I think he'll probably survive to a decision. So once again, I'm picking Charles Jourdain, and I'm going to pick him via decision in this one. But with that being said, that's been my breakdown for this matchup. If you enjoyed our video, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below on who you think's going to win. But until then, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. I thank you all for listening. Remember, stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see y'all next time.